So I had the bright idea to do this so-called Wings of Fire hybrid challenge just on a whim because I wanted to draw dragons. To my knowledge, there are 2, maybe more. I don't know what this community is up to, but there are just 2 main ones, I think. The first challenge was just randomizing all the tribes and hybridizing the 2 that were rolled. The second challenge is getting a 10x10 grid and making hybrids of all of them at once. This is going to be the one that I'm attempting. That is gonna be 100 different designs. I mean, I'm making it easier on myself by just designing the heads, but it's still a lot. But Bly, why not just, you know, Control-Z copy-paste? Hahaha, you're hilarious, but I'm no wimp. What I meant to say was that there's no shame in doing it either way. I just felt like drawing more. Plus I have a method to make even the same hybrids somewhat different from one another, but before I explain that, allow me to play the footage so I'm not rambling forever. As you can see, I have gotten all the normal dragons done so I could just focus on the hybrids. I guess the only thing that is worthy to note is that I almost named this guy Lightning McQueen. Anyway, alright, here we are. Here you can see that I'm starting the Sandwing row. I'm just going to be going in order of the rows that I made, and I'm gonna make another video for each row. So there's gonna be a Sandwing, Mudwing, Icewing, Freakwing. Something I wanted to prioritize with these designs was dominant traits. I don't really mean that in a genetic way, but from a designing standpoint. The Sandwing hybrids, for example, are all supposed to share a key feature with one another, that being their sails, black eyes, and the weird eye spots I added for some reason. I tried fitting in their barbed tails as well, but it just became an awkward composition, so just pretend they're there. I realize this method has been done before, but I really wanted to emphasize dominant traits and things like facial structure and shape design rather than just colors and patterns. I also want to mention that I'm not completely abiding by the official species design. A true crime, I know. I don't know, I just find it more interesting and fun to not stick to the official artwork wholly and just do my own thing. It makes for a lot more opportunities to make designs different from each other without running out of canon options to add to the design. Unfortunately, I don't really have a whole lot to say about these Sandwings. I didn't really think too hard or have too much difficulty designing them. I mostly kind of worked off of an exaggerated version of like what the Sandwing would be hybridized with the Mudwing, for example. Mudwings are kind of bulky, so therefore the Sandwing hybrid is a little bit bulkier. He has a wider face. The Skywing Sandwing hybrid, they're a narrow, fast, quick, aerodynamic species, so therefore the Sandwing has a bit more of a narrower face. And so on and so forth. The Seawing is rounder, the Icewing is sharper, the Rainwing is also round. You get the gist. I don't think I'll abide by this method for all of the designs, but as first rows go, or as first designs go, it was a little bit easier to get a feel for everything by just working off of a general vibe. Maybe I'll do like a theme thing for the rest of them. I don't know what else I could theme them off of other than the main dragon I'm basing them off of, but who knows. I meant to add more like accessories and so things like piercings, maybe hats, or tattoos on these guys just to make them more interesting. I did add like a cool marking for the Nightwing Sandwing, and the Sky and Sea hybrids got their cool little patterned frills, sails, whatever you call them. But as for the rest of them, I kind of forgot. I'm trying not to rely on like heavily accessorized designs to make them interesting, but you know, sometimes just a little extra little thing just kind of makes them stand out from the rest. You'll see the names here in a bit. There wasn't a whole lot of thought put behind them, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I tried not to choose like default names, like, you know, freaking cactus. The only rule I made for myself while naming these guys was to not name them after anyone who already exists in Wings of Fire. It's easy for the main characters, but like with characters you don't really know exist, you gotta kind of look them up. I think the name that I think I could have done better with is with the Nightwing Sandwing. I named this one Dusk, which is, I assume, a pretty popular name to name like any sort of Nightwing dragon, but I couldn't really think of anything better, so his name is Dusk now, like it or not. There it is. For the colors, I just tried to keep them sandy and dulled down and, you know, just grainy, earthy colors. For the Rainwing, for example, or brighter colored hybrids, I just tried to keep them yellow instead of venturing into dull colors. I felt like I could have done a better job at picking colors for the Rainwing and the Silkwing hybrids. They were honestly kind of a wild card, because they're the most colorful species out there, the Silkwing and the Rainwing. So it's kind of like pick whatever if you're making a hybrid off of them, or even just designing one in general with not even hybridized in the first place. So I did try to implement yellow into both of their designs just because Sandwing, but I did kind of default to like the color I chose for their rows. For example, I made the Rainwing row green and the Silkwing row purple or pink. I didn't really know if I should try different colors, to be honest, because I felt like, for example, if I wanted to do blue or red with the Rainwing hybrid, then it might give off Skywing or Seawing vibes. I'll experiment with that in the future, but for now I just defaulted to the general color of the species, I guess. Speaking of designing, I thought that making this little series would be a good chance to give away some tips and tricks for designing draconic fellows. I think I've already rambled on enough in this introductory video to fit anything in, so I'll be sure to get to that in the next part. I'm actually very excited to draw the Mudwings. They have very interesting face shapes, so that should be very fun to mess around with. I can contort their faces like clay, and it makes sense because the main character is clay. Alright, so here's something funny. I am in the middle of naming these fellows, and I wanted to name this guy Flicker. But you know what's funny is that when I put it behind his drawing, and I move it just a little bit, if I can select the dang thing, is that if I move his name behind the drawing, and I move it just around here, then that's not great. Oh my gosh. And after all that, here's the final product. I made a few adjustments to their colors before I felt like they were complete. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about these nice fellows. Thoughts? Feedback? Would you like to see anything with future hybrids? Let me know in the comments below. And with that said, I'll just start working on the Mudwings. And I will see you in that video. See ya. I realize this method has been done before, but I really wanted to empathize. I wanted to empathize with the traits. What? I really feel for all the fellows out there with their sharp noses and big ass horns.